Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to your Saturday morning, early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's kick-ass coach and psychologist. Here are some words of wisdom to get us rolling today. I think it's going to be kind of a misty day, so I have to see if I can hunt up my raincoat. Good morning, Cindy. Glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. Looks like someone else just popped in. Welcome. Glad you're here. And as you can see, my backdrop has changed again. I got tired of trying to get the library to look like less of a dungeon. And my dad went to visit my sister, so I don't have to worry about being too loud today. Welcome, Kelly. Glad you're here. Awesome. People just popping in. I love that. And today's card, kind of a funny deck. I did my usual muscle testing to see which deck we needed to go with, and I have this funky little deck that is less than a full deck. There's something to be said for that. That a friend of mine gave me after she had handed out some of those cards at a retreat that she gave. And so I have this partial deck of the Grace cards from Cheryl Richardson. I have my own full deck, but this partial deck keeps popping up for us. And so I just thought that was kind of interesting that here we are again. And the word for today is going to be another one of those here we are again moments, because we had it recently. But again, when a card pops up repeatedly, when there are a plethora of cards from which to choose, and this is what chooses us, I really think it's important that we prick up our ears and pay attention. Perception. Perception. So let's just take some nice deep breaths to settle in. Spinning open your crown chakra. Drawing down healing golden light from above. Allowing that healing golden light to move throughout your body. And grounding through your feet. If you're still in bed, just bend your knees so your feet are hitting a flat surface. Grounding through your feet. And little hatches in the bottom of your feet open up and draw up with the inhale, Mother Earth energy. Drawing down from above, drawing up from below, and having that those energies meet in your heart space. And just feeling how lovely that is to be connected to the divine and grounded on Mother Earth. What else is necessary, right? It's just enjoying that. Just breathe, be in that space, feeling your heart opening to receive the message and how it fits for you. Because how it fits for you may be different than how it fits for others. That's cool. That's cool. So here are the words for perception. See the past through the lens of grace. All that occurs is designed to support our spiritual evolution. All right? So what if you think of all of those crappy events that happened in your life as part of the process of honing who you are as a spiritual being having a human experience? Good morning, Pat. Welcome, welcome. Here is our card, Perception. What if all of those untoward things, all of those things that made us sad, mad, frustrated, disgusted, gutted, etc., what if all of that crap, quote unquote, is designed to help us become who we're meant to be? Are the opportunities, the difficulties that hold the opportunities for us to become our highest and best self? And you may argue, well, couldn't it be easier than that? Couldn't Spirit have come up with a more pleasant way for us to learn? Maybe not. Maybe we're lunkheaded enough that we need to have some of those untoward experiences to really grasp the important stuff. You know, what matters. Let's take COVID. That's an in-our-face example. If you sat for 10 minutes and made a list of all the things that have changed for you because of COVID, all of the insights that you've had because of COVID, all of the stuff you've jettisoned because you realized it really isn't important because of COVID, all of the stuff you began paying more attention to because you realized even though it's humming in the background, it really is what's most important. I think you'd find that COVID has been transformative. Has it been devastating for a lot of people? Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's also transformative. And for us to look at and appreciate the transformation that we've gained from that crucible is really powerful. Really powerful, because then moving forward, we get to see the past through the lens of grace. So instead of telling the same old shitty stories over and over and over, and there's a clue. If you catch yourself repeating a story about your history, your past, whatever, he left me, I lost everything, I was so sick, blah, 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 all that stuff. If you find yourself repeating that story, take a look at, what am I getting out of this? What am I getting out of identifying with this negative story? And then maybe you want to go about changing it. So, again, I'm just going to use COVID because it's a handy-dandy example. If I say to my grandchildren, if I ever have any, yeah, I went through the COVID pandemic and it was terrible, horrible, awful, and this is all the losses I experienced and yada, yada. That's one version of the story. If I share, it was a difficult, painful, loss-filled time, but here's what I learned. I learned that I was spending too much of my time on things that did not matter, that met other people's expectations, or were the way I had always done something, or whatever it was. I let that stuff go. I let that stuff go. Do I think that the COVID pandemic was integral in me deciding it was time to release the Hillcrest to its new owners? Absolutely. Absolutely. Was it because we were down and shut down and not having guests? No, it wasn't. In fact, the COVID years were the best years we had financially. So it wasn't running away from something. It was that feeling of completion. This phase, this 7-year cycle of me owning the motel, learning what I was meant to learn from that, etc., had run its course. Had run its course. And it was time to move on. Good morning, Joe. Welcome, welcome. It was time to move on. Okay, so here's our card again. Perception. For me to be able to say, the motel has been a great run for me, but it's time for the next phase. And then this interim phase getting inserted here. I mean, I really thought I was going to be headed for Oregon to learn what I need to learn about intentional communities so that I can come back and set up my own. The divine unfolding was a couple of people in my family having health issues, and it being important for me to be present here for my dad. He's still very, very functional. For an 87-year-old man, he's incredibly functional. But for one of the parties that typically was tending to his needs, bill paying, that kind of stuff, she needed the time out to be able to take care of her own health issues. So for me being here, last night we had meatloaf and rhubarb crunch. I think he was quite happy with rhubarb crunch. So this is the pause in the middle. And my buddy Kayleen Welsh and I did this amazing thing on, was that Monday or Tuesday? I can't keep my days straight. But anyway, it must have been Tuesday because we have a typical Tuesday call. And, oh, there goes the dog. As we were talking, we were both feeling this angst. And I said, well, let's just do 5 minutes of breath work. 5 minutes, guys. 5 minutes. That's all we did. And so we just did some panting breathing and then some nice deep breaths. And whatever came to mind, we wrote it down. And I'm going to share with you what we wrote down in that little 5-minute diversion, because it was so powerful. Let me find it here. The statement that we went into the breath work with was the last statement that Kayleen had made as we were talking about what wasn't working. And she said, it's not flying, meaning a certain thing wasn't coming together, wasn't happening. It's not flying. So what was written with the breath was, it's not supposed to fly yet. Your impatience insults your soul. How is that for a whammo? Your impatience insults your soul. Bide time. There's enough time. Let go, flow. Notice where you end up. I loved these questions that just sort of popped up in the process. What do your spiritual eyes see? What do your spiritual ears hear? What does your spiritual knowingness tell you? Heed that, not the pushing, shoving, pulling, tugging of humanity. Keep struggling to transcend. Then this was as if Spirit was talking back. I gave you money. Don't worry about clients. You have enough. Show up as you. Be clear on what you really want. You are to write. Do that. That was pretty cool. So, and that was, some of that was mine, some of that was Kayleen's, but both fit for both of us. And having reread it every day since and kind of setting my compass accordingly, things are moving forward. And ooh, this is something I wanted to ask you guys. There's 6 of you on here right now. And anybody who watches it after the fact, please respond also. I got a hit. This just kind of flowed into unfolding as I was journaling yesterday about maybe doing a short 10-week class, meeting once a week, and meeting as often as people want to on a Facebook private group for, what did I call it? I think that's in here too. Let me look. I'm getting to the end of this journal. It's a good thing I know where the next ones are. Creating a purge plan. A purge plan. And what I'm thinking, now having moved, I realize I have too much stuff. And I would like to start the 10-week purge with concrete kinds of things. Like we're going to do a drawer together 1 week. We're going to do a purse or a wallet, a file drawer, moving on up, a box, a closet, something. At the end, the last 2, weeks 9 and 10, would be purging, clearing a belief that does not serve you. All the way along, and then the last one would be a role, letting go of a role that no longer serves you. All the way along, I know from having done one of the similar kind of thing where we were just clearing clutter in our homes with Denise Lynn, that a ton of stuff comes up internally to be addressed. So for example, I'm just going to make something up here. I pick up this umbrella and I decide this is something that I need to let go of. And then I go off on this whole roof. Yeah, but my sister gave me this umbrella and it was when things were really difficult and I needed protection and, you know, whatever. And we go off on this whole story around whatever this object is. And there are ways for us to deal with that so that we can still release the object, bless it on its way, not have to have it sitting around, but still retain whatever message it brought to us. So I'm wondering if anybody would have interest in doing this. And interestingly, when I was kind of chatting with Spirit about pricing, the number 9 came to me. 9 for completion, finishing things up. And so I'm thinking it would be $9.99. $9.99 for 10 weeks of clearing clutter. And I think someone has to go out and go potty, so I'm going to have to cut this short. So today, I would like your response in the feed or private message or whatever about would you be interested in that kind of a 10-week class? And B, what's your thoughts on this perception thing? Where do you find yourself repeating story? Where would you like to change your perception of something and change your outcome? Let's see what you get. Have an awesome day. We'll see you again tomorrow morning. And remember, you are capable of far, far, far more than you think you are. Bye.